heart, soul. Watch your head, heart, and soul. Watch your head, heart, soul. Watch your head, heart, and soul. Watch your head, heart, and soul.
L'afroféminisme est important aujourd'hui. Et contrairement à ce qu'on pourrait penser, il est encore plus important aujourd'hui qu'il ne l'était il y a 10 ou 20 ans. Pourquoi? Parce que les problèmes sociaux se sont accentués, les fractures nord-sud entre les pays du nord et du sud se sont accentuées, mais les fractures qui existent à l'intérieur d'un même pays, d'une même nation, se sont encore accentuées. Donc si on regarde la situation au Québec, si on regarde la situation en France, si on regarde la situation en Belgique, en Angleterre, aujourd'hui les différences entre les communautés sont complètement exacerbées, mises de l'avant, soulignées par tout un ensemble de politiques ou d'idéologies qui circulent dans la société et qui laissent croire que il y a des individus qui valent moins que d'autres. Et donc dans cette vision-là, l'afroféministe est encore plus nécessaire. Nécessaire pourquoi? Parce que dans ces clivages qui existent entre les différents groupes et entre différentes idées aussi, eh bien, les femmes noires sont complètement laissées de côté. Leurs situations qui les concernent sont complètement laissées de côté.
Afro-feminism, but for me it means a lot more than a movement. It's mostly very internal. I think it's a state of being, because it's something that you can't wear on or wear off when you like, right? It's who you are, and you have to live in this skin every day.
Alors, l'afroféminisme, donc de mon point de vue, puisque c'est pas une définition officielle, je dirais que pour moi déjà ça se distingue du black feminism américain, qui est déjà lié à une période, puisque cette théorisation elle date des années 70-80, mais qu'elle vient aussi d'une histoire. Moi j'emploie le terme afroféminisme pour aussi justement le réintroduire dans le cadre transatlantique des échanges qu'il y a eu beaucoup entre les Afro-Américains, la France, aussi le Canada, et puis toute la diaspora caraïbe, et puis les personnes aussi issues des pays d'Afrique. Par exemple, il y a la question des féminismes noirs qu'on n'abordera pas là, mais les féminismes noirs aussi, c'est les féministes dans tous les pays d'Afrique. Je veux dire, il y a des féministes au Togo, il y a des féministes au Mali, et puis pour le coup, je ne sais pas comment elles se définissent, donc je ne dirais pas. Pour moi, l'afroféminisme, déjà, c'est la question de la diaspora. C'est-à-dire, c'est les féminismes noirs, mais des diasporas noires, en fait. Les féminismes des diasporas noires, donc en gros, dans les pays où la majorité est blanche. Et donc, comment on a construit des féminismes qui nous permettent d'adresser et la question raciale et puis la question du genre ou la question du sexisme, entre guillemets.
I think it's about conversation. I think it's about real conversations, honest conversations, sharing and agreeing to disagree, but still keeping that respect. It starts by how being, and that starts from within, starts from the self, because you can't deal with how you're oppressed if you don't understand or unlearn certain things on your own. And yeah, I think that women of color have that extra work to do than a white woman, for example, because she's been told, or what is represented to her whole life is that she's a problem. So she has to learn on her own that maybe I'm not that bad, and maybe I could do what the fuck I want. So yeah, so it starts from there, and then from then on, then we could yell it over mountains.
So people often wonder why you would want to make some kind of clear-cut difference between your brand of feminism. And it was always natural to me why that would be necessary. But for some people, it just doesn't make sense why you need to separate the kinds of feminism. To other people, feminism as a concept doesn't make sense because, oh, everybody should be equal. But here's the reason, and I know I'm going to get some people jump down my throat for this, but here's the reason why I can't necessarily call myself a feminist. Feminism, the way it's been marketed, the way it's been ingrained into our pop culture now, is not a movement. it's not, and I can't support it. It's an aesthetic, it's a style, it's a hashtag more than it is about moving towards equality. So by 2016 standards, I can't call myself a feminist. And looking back at my first experience with racism again, having a little white girl tell me that I couldn't play with her on the first day of school because I was too dark, and knowing that that was the first interaction I had with another girl, feminism aside, the fact that she was white is what made that happen. Like, she was playing with other girls just fine. It was the fact that I was black. So knowing that I could not fit in with white girls specifically, and then to have people ask me why I need to be centered with the way I practice feminism is a slap in the fucking face. Like, how dare you? How dare you? It makes no sense.
Quand on regarde qu'une femme noire, par exemple en France aujourd'hui, a du mal à trouver du travail si elle a des cheveux, si elle porte ses cheveux naturels. On va lui dire, bah, range ton afro, défrise-toi les cheveux, bah, en d'autres termes, normalise-toi. Parce que ta coupe afro, eh bien, elle n'est pas professionnelle. Donc c'est quelque part un rejet d'une personne dans ce qu'elle est, physiquement. C'est le rejet de sa négritude, c'est le rejet de ce qu'elle est. Et ça, c'est extrêmement problématique. Je donne ça, c'est un exemple. Évidemment que ce n'est pas un exemple généralisant. Il y a des employeurs plus acceptables que d'autres à cet égard. Mais c'est quand même, la femme noire va être poussée à se normaliser, donc à essayer d'adopter un comportement ou un style qui va la rapprocher de la femme blanche. Bon, ça c'est un élément. Autre élément qui est très perturbateur, c'est que on est dans une société où on met beaucoup l'accent sur la violence et on met beaucoup l'accent sur la violence des hommes noirs. Donc on a tendance aussi à travers ça à stigmatiser une communauté. Donc l'afroféminisme aujourd'hui c'est très important pour justement montrer l'origine de certaines oppressions et pour montrer que ces oppressions sont encore là et qu'elles ont encore un impact dans la vie des femmes noires, aussi dans la vie des hommes noirs. Parce que si on libère les femmes noires et si les femmes noires acquièrent leurs droits, conquièrent leur pouvoir, ça va aussi aider, bah, bien sûr, les enfants qu'elles vont avoir, ça va aider leurs conjoints. Ça a aussi un impact considérable pour les hommes, pour les enfants.
I mean, black men, that's another history of oppression on their own, right? I think black men are just like, are a result of, again, what society has been telling them that they are. So it's a reaction to that, and then there's all the like systematic oppressions and micro oppressions that they go through that maybe even stop them from being who they potentially want to be or how they want to be represented. But it goes hand in hand. Like, the black men need the men of color need the women of color as much as the women of color need the men of color.
And I've realized when I'm around strong women, it has pushed me to do better. So,
like that foundation, that rock to like.
Yeah, like, you know, yeah, women are that rock. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know, we definitely need that, and I support it completely. Cause, like, if I was around like strong women like all the time, you know, I would be such a different person today, you know. And I've only realized that, what the hell, you know, like, not recently, but like within the last few years.
Do you feel that's kind of like lacking, like in your life, that foundation, that strong?
Every time I find a strong woman, like, I'm always bigging her up so much. Like, yo, you go, girl. You know what I mean? Keep doing it. You know what I mean? I think sometimes I scare strong women a lot of time. But, like, I'm just happy to see, like, you know, like, a confident woman, like, you know, black woman, like, you know, doing her thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it does make a difference, you know.
Well, it does
your
inspire.
vicinity, you know?
Yeah, it does inspire for sure.
Yeah.
The woman that most inspired me actually was my mother. I had a very strong mother. She came here from the West Indies to marry my father. She had no family here. Although she left all her family in the West Indies, she was here all alone. And my father was abusive. And I remember as a child, you know, my father pounding the living daylights out of my mother, and the police would be called, and the police would just say, oh, well, you'll just work it out. I had two brothers, because my father was married twice, and my brothers were afraid of my father, and they would do nothing to help my mother because they were afraid of my father. Me, as a child, 8, 9, 10 years old, when my father was beating my mother, I would jump in and try to stop whatever I could. And when my mother, because she didn't she was a stay-at-home mom because we were 4 children. I was the oldest, and so she didn't have a job. But when we got a little bit older, she went out and she would clean houses for the women in Westmount, and I vowed that I would never be in the position that she was in. I was not going to be in the position where I had to ask my husband, give me $1 so I can buy whatever I needed, because that's how my father treated us. And how she raised us with little to no money and allowed us to go to school. She said for us, she didn't want us to have to do the type of work that she did, and she made sure we had an education. And she was a little woman, you know. And I just admired her, and I said, I learned, because I'm one of those people that I learn by people's mistakes, and not only my own mistakes, but people's mistakes. And for me, it was her mistake that she married my father.
Oh wow.
You know?
That is
That
a terrible question. I don't even know if I'm gonna have kids.
I don't even know if I'm gonna have kids either.
I know.
But okay, my message to them:
just like empowerment. Like, just learn to be dignified with themselves, because the world is rough out there. Like,
Yeah.
Let's be honest, they're going to be at a disadvantage for the majority of their lives because the system doesn't cater to their needs as much as other privileged people, you know, men and people of not minority color and whatnot, not minority distinction, you know.
Understand how to understand, because as a biracial person, you know, you're put in a lot of awkward situations a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I also think whether you're a male or female, learn what racism is early to the deepest degree, because I think back now, and I did not know people were making fun of me, you know?
But she was strong in it, and she got out of it. So that was the first woman that I really, really admired. And today, I mean, she's passed away, but she's still in my heart. And I learned that's not going to happen to me. And she was strong. And don't forget, in those days, it wasn't like how it is today, where you had social agencies, or you had for women, what do you call, you know, homes that they can go to. You didn't have that. We were in the East End, and as I said, my father would just placate the policemen, and they would just go away. And I mean, those beatings that he did, I saw blood. It wasn't, you know, a simple slap or anything like that. My father was a monster, and but my mother was strong, and she loved her children. Not that there would have been anything wrong with it, I guess, at the time, but I've never, after my father, there was never any men coming around my house, our house, even though she said that men would ask her for dates and that, and she says, oh no, I'm not having any man come around and interfere with my children. And she taught me so much, and most of all, she taught me strength and to be independent, because today I'm extremely, extremely independent. And that's what I admire in women. I have a problem with women, especially today, that are dependent on men.
You know, it's kind of hard to speak about black men in the movement because when you're openly gay, people think that you just automatically hate men, but I have a grandfather, I have a dad, I have uncles, I have a brother, I love men. I have men in my family, I think men are beautiful, I've dated men, I've had sex with men, I like men. I just don't necessarily orient myself that way, and that doesn't stop me from having an actual opinion about them. And especially when it comes to the movement, any movement that centers blackness, black men have been notorious for either keeping women out or shutting them down. And yes, you are black, and yes, you suffer the slings and arrows of racism, but you are still a man, and to that degree, you still have the opportunity to be oppressive. And people, well, again, for the sake of being specific, black people don't really see it as that a lot of the time, where they're not completely aware of the intersections of the movement. Black men still hurt us. Black men want to claim that we're all in this together and that we're moving towards the same goal, but like when you look at statistics of like assault against women in the black community, assault against children in the black community, girls specifically, committed by men, we're not on the same team here. And we really wish that we could be, because who is always at the forefront of these movements that try to center black men? It's always black women. The Black Lives Matter movement was started by 3 women in response to the murders of black men, and yet we're always erased from the process, or we're silenced from the process, especially when you're gay, because if you have anything negative to say about men, it's, oh, you're a man-hating lesbian, you don't have any input in this conversation, and we're doing it for you. Like, black men, we're doing it for you. We care about you. We want you to go as far as possible and to be as free as possible and have as many opportunities as possible, but we don't want you to use us as a stepping stool to get there. That's it. That's what the movement is about.
Just walking outside, being yourself,
As a black woman
already makes people uncomfortable, and then you dare have confidence.
It's scary.
Yeah, for sure. So I think it's just every day the looks you get, like, it hurts. Why look at me like, why you gotta hold your bag when I sit next to you in the bus? Why? Like, you know, yeah.
Did you ever experience
yeah. I think every black person got the go back to your country, nigger. Like, everybody got that at least twice. But you know, it's like I said earlier, it's once you unlearn these ideas that were imposed on you about you, like people who don't even look like you have been telling you for all these years who you are. So once you learn for yourself who you are, it doesn't matter.
Yo, I break down the predisposition. In my position, I switch directions. That's right, I made a proposition. Why Afro-feminism is the schism, what I need in this conversation. Break it down around town, we need it happening to all the little ladies having babies. I know it's crazy in this world, it's cold, but you see this young brother here got soul. This my brother rocking with the dreadlocks. You gotta understand the hard knock life we came into. I got the principle from, I keep it running like my nickname's Gun. Ha! Afro-feminism, holla back, baby. Holla back, baby. I holla back, baby. I holla back, baby. Alright.
Patriarchy, you know, masculinity, you know, it teaches us to be tough. We're not allowed to, like, show emotion. But the thing is, you know, we're animals.
Yeah.
You know? Like, we're wild. You know, we have to show emotion.
Yeah, it's kind of like systematic in the sense that you're just like going through the motions because that's the way it's supposed to be, you know? It's God's way of like being the male figure in society.
Yeah, man.
You know?
I mean, like,
yeah.
You gotta show your emotions. It's who you are.
Well,
you know, your
not only emotions, but like your vulnerabilities, your fears. That's what makes you a lot more human in a sense.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
And people won't be able to relate to you if you don't show your vulnerabilities or your fears. I know that for a fact. And I'm not afraid to show them at all.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I respect men that are out there on social media putting it out. you know, raising awareness, because, you know, it's a tough thing. You know, you gotta have big balls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's an interesting term, big balls.
Oh.
Okay.
My admiration really is for strong women, however they, and not necessarily in the business world, but just standing up for women's rights, standing up for the child who's being bullied by, you know, another. You'll find that women sometimes undertake situations where a man won't go, especially when it's dealing with emotions, or you have to tell somebody the truth to their face. You know, a man is going to shy away from it, but a woman will, you know, take full reins and deal with it.
Donc, sur la question de la femme noire en colère, la angry black woman, c'est un... Bon, souvent on entend ça, et quand on l'entend, c'est souvent pour dévaloriser la femme noire. Mais l'idée, ce n'est pas tant de... Enfin, c'est évidemment de la dévaloriser, mais c'est surtout de dévaloriser sa colère. C'est-à-dire, c'est comme si, en disant de toute façon, c'est une angry black woman, c'est comme si on disait, bah, sa colère n'est pas légitime. Parce que ça fait partie de sa façon d'être en tant que femme noire. Les femmes noires sont en colère, elles sont agressives. Donc là aussi, on reconduit un stéréotype. Et souvent, on s'aperçoit que si on regarde, si on interroge les gens, si on leur demande, bah, on s'aperçoit que leur colère est légitime, que c'est la colère d'une société où la place n'est pas donnée à la femme noire, où la femme noire n'a pas sa place dans une société, professionnellement, dans sa vie affective, dans les différents domaines de sa vie. On ne lui donne pas la place qu'elle mérite, la place qu'elle a conquis, parce qu'il ne faut pas oublier aussi que la colère aussi, elle est construite par le fait que des générations avant, on travaillait fort pour avancer, pour évoluer, pour construire dans une société qui n'est pas facile et où la femme noire n'a pas la première place, elle a souvent la dernière. Et donc, il est normal qu'aujourd'hui, dans les années, on est en 2016, il est normal qu'aujourd'hui, en 2016, bah, une femme noire soit encore en colère de voir que bah, malgré toutes les conquêtes qui ont été faites pour leur donner une place dans la société, qu'elle ne l'est pas encore. Et donc, la colère est légitime. Il faut faire une différence entre colère et violence. Si la femme est violente, là, évidemment, il y a un problème. Mais souvent, quand on parle de angry black woman, c'est pour parler d'une colère. Et la colère, elle est due aux injustices vécues dans la société.
It's also important not only to learn more about our history, but to complicate our history and understand that people of color all around the world are different. And there's so many types of people and generalizations. You know, like for example, for me, if people might stereotype me for fried chicken and watermelon jokes, when that's associated to Black American history of oppression, it has nothing to do with me, because my parents were not, my history is not from slavery. I'm not Black American. Like, for example, one day at work, this man told me, he looked at my necklace and he goes, you know, February is Black History Month. And yeah, it's cool. February is Black History Month, but that's Black American History Month, and I'm not Black American. So there's so many types of people of color, just within itself, Africa, just within 52 countries, within even each country of themselves, they have different tribes, just so many types of different people. And
just in Montreal,
even
you know, it's not every Black that is Haitian.
Not every Black person is Haitian. Not every Black person is even consider themselves Africans. Like, you know, it's just there's just so many diversity, and it's important to include everybody's story and find the struggle or speak to the struggle of every person's story, and not generalize it to one type of one story for one people. It's not because we look alike. Yes, we come from the same place, but our stories are very different, and our struggles are very different. And what the day-to-day of a Black American in New York is very different from the day-to-day of a Montreal girl. So that's really important too. Support women of color in their independent business. Support them. Support them.
And love loves us. Two doves in love. I said this before. I wrote this somewhere on your door. Doors open up as we let the past go. Thank you for your patience with my sorrow. Let's plant a garden, water each seed. I water you, you water me. You're my blessing in disguise. I see you in the sky, a smile, your love, your light. I know there's more to life, but one night with you equals one lifetime. Conversing with the moon, my big stream full of true blue. Full of true. I love you, I love you, I love you. Me some you, I love you, I love me some you.
Dreaming how we dreaming, seeing what we see. I think I wanna love you. I know it's for a reason. I know that we just love and love. I know that we just love. I know that we just love and love. I know that we just love. Whether this be forevermore, forever to the love. Whether this be the nevermore, I never.